Now we're about to do the distributive property. This is one of the main properties you're going to be using for some basic algebra for a really long time. So it is really an important one, and I've written the algebraic form up here where you've got a, which is on the outside of the parentheses, times x plus y, and that equals ax plus ay. In words, this is you take what's on the outside and you multiply it times everything on the inside. So in essence, you'll see me make these little rainbows above it every single time because it just helps me remember, take what's on the outside, multiply by what's on the inside. So a times x, there's ax, a times y, there's ay. Now, if you take a look at our answer, you're going to notice something. The parentheses have gone away. And eliminating parentheses helps us simplify a lot of different things in algebra. So parentheses get in the way because they're at the beginning of the order of operations. If we were to do this, and I wrote out one that we could physically get a number answer for, 3 times 4 plus 5. To solve that the normal way using order of operations, 3 plus 4 is 9. And then I would have to multiply by the 3. 3 times 9 is 27. That's the straightforward way. If we were to take and do this problem using the distributive property, I would have to take the 3 and multiply it by the 4 and multiply it by the 5. 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now when you use the distributive property, use your sign on the answer as your symbol on the inside. Since this is a positive 15, I'm going to write a plus. If it would have been a negative number, I would have written a minus. 12 plus 15 is 27. They give you the same answer. Now, when you look at it, you might say, well, that looks like more trouble than just adding up what's on the inside of the parentheses. Take a look at our first example, though. 3 times x plus 2. So when you take 3 and you have to multiply it times this quantity, you can't do this because we don't know what x is. Since you haven't been told what x is, you are stuck. But we can at least get rid of the parentheses and simplify it a little bit by using the distributive property. So you take what's on the outside, multiply it by what's on the inside. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. So that's 6, and since the 6 is positive, I write a plus. Let's look at the second example. So I'm going to take the negative 2, and I'm going to multiply it by the y and by the negative 5. Negative 2 times y is negative 2y. Negative 2 times negative 5. Since that is a minus sign, I am counting the 5 as negative. That would be positive 10, so I'm going to write plus 10. Now some people will say, how do you know that's negative? Well, subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. So if I were to make that a plus symbol, minus 5 is the same as plus a negative 5. So it makes it negative. You can just take a little shortcut there. All right, look at the third example. 3x times 2x plus 5. So we're still going to multiply those. Now I'm going to go ahead and write 3x times 2x here. Because I want to remind you that, hey, these have exponents of 1. And when you're multiplying with variables, you have to add the exponents. So 3 times 2 is 6. X to the first times x to the first is x to the second. And then the 3x times the 5, 3 times 5 is 15, so that'll be plus 15. Don't forget about the x, it has to follow, so 15x. The last example we've got three things. So notice I made three little rainbows. You take what's on the outside, you multiply it by everything on the inside. So 6x squared times 3x squared. I'm going to go ahead and write this below. 6 times 3 is 18, and we should be adding the exponents. 2 plus 2 is 4, so it's 18x to the fourth. 6x to the second times negative 5x, that minus sign makes it negative. So that would be minus 30. X to the second times x, don't forget there's a 1 there. So that would be x to the third. 6x to the second times 7. 6 times 7, that's 42. That's positive, so I write the plus. And since there's no x's here, the x to the second just follows. The distributive property is really important. Multiply it out. Make sure you're doing the proper arithmetic. If it's a number times a number, it's regular multiplication, or even a number times a letter. But when you've got terms that have both numbers and variables in them, don't forget to use your exponent operations and to add those exponents. Good luck.